Hello coaches and welcome to this edition of Give and Go Live. My name's David Newberry and I'm joined by my colleague Ian Barker. Hello Ian.
Hello David, always good to be doing Give and Goes.
So Ian, we are entering into a new series of 3 activities, the first of which is about scoring goals and how to develop the goal scoring predator. And this is from the 2019 convention in Chicago, facilitated by Paul Marco. And as we know, on the new format of Give and Go, we have a video injection and also an animation provided to us by Global Coach. And so let's start with the first sequence. And this one's a little bit more complex, so it takes a little bit of interpretation. The first, and we'll look at the red team to begin with. Player number 1 dribbles past a flag or a pole and then takes a shot at goal, and everything is within about an 18-yard area. So if you think of 18 yards to goal at both ends of the field, that gives you an idea of the dimensions of the field. Once one has taken the shot, then they go to combine, which we'll see in diagram number 2. On the other side of the field, we have the blue team, and the initiation of this activity comes from the player opposite player number 4. And simply what they do is they move away from either 2 flags or some cones. They touch a pole to represent a defender, and then they're going to peel away and then go to goal. So we'll see that in diagram 2. Ian, let's talk about some of the methodology as it relates to the first sequence.
Sure. So this will come alive with the video, but the first thing we've got here is a dribble and then an independent shot off the dribble, and the player can choose whether he or she wants to use their left or right foot. When we don't have opponents, when we don't have somebody trying to dispossess, it's important that we stress quality and realism until we start integrating defenders. So, I'd want this to be a nice pace dribble, and once we get past that stick or that cone for a nice sharp finish, we'll worry about the combinations a little bit later. When we look at the other side, when we look at the other side, what I'm looking at here is this player checking 2 before they will check away to initiate the pass. So we've got some movement, and the movement would suggest when the player plays the weighted pass in return. So all the time here I'm looking at technique. I might be specifying use of left or right foot, but I'm making sure that we're trying to make this realistic before we start inserting live defenders.
Thanks, Ian. Let's go to sequence 2, and we'll start again with the red team. The player that dribbled past the pole and shot, number 1, now moves over to make a combination with player 2. So number 1's moved, and player 2 has dribbled initially so that they are within a couple of yards of the mannequin, and then they've done a wall pass, received the ball back, and then taken a shot. So that's the sequence for the red group. And then for the blue group, as Ian just mentioned, they've checked towards the ball and then away from the ball, making a curved run. And as the player is making a curved run, the player in possession of the ball takes a touch to the left and then plays the ball either between some cones through, as we'll see, Paul Marco did something with a rope, but under the rope, and then played into the pathway of the player that just checked away. So Ian, let's talk about the methods on this one.
Yeah, a couple of general comments would be, as you can see here, that at some point we'll switch the blue and red team. So every player is getting an opportunity at all facets of this activity. And so from my perspective, 11, 12, 13, 14, that's fantastic. If you're working with a more senior team, this might be quite a short part of your training session, and you might want your strikers getting more repetitions than necessarily your defenders. But when I look at the now this combination sequence, the player that dribbled and shot is now playing the combination with the oncoming player, and the pass that they're going to play back to them could be played across the front of them for them to run onto, or you could look at maybe playing that pass back at them so they have to get it out from under their feet before they shoot. So you can really put challenges on the oncoming striker based on the type of service he or she receives from the give and go and the wall pass. So that's something I'd be looking at there. And then when we look here, as the player checks out the pass into their path, we want to consider how that pass is played. So if it's an inside of the foot pass, very often that ball is going to be running pretty aggressively towards the end line. But we'll see in the video, we can also play this ball with the outside of our foot, which will turn it back into the player, possibly if it's a right-footed ball, and maybe slows up a little bit. So again, the quality of the service from this player and the quality of the service from this player are key to what type of shot and finish these strikers will ultimately be getting.
And our third sequence, now we are moving on the red player, the same number one who shot and then combined is now involved in a second combination with player three. So player three dribbles somewhat similarly to player two, plays an angled pass for the player one, who then plays the ball into the path and wide for player three to run onto, dribble past on the outside of a mannequin, and then cut the ball back for player three, who peeled off to the back post before running in to meet the ball that is played back from player three. And then over here on the blue team, we had player four pass the ball through the cones, and simply here, the player that peeled away, first checking to the ball and then moving away from the ball, finishes off with a shot. Once that's done at that end, that side of the field, then of course player five starts that combination on the other side, and they alternate. Ian.
Yeah, so a couple of things I'd be looking at here, and this little movement arrow or movement line that David has put in is critical, because what I'd be looking at for here is as the player is running onto the cross, dribbling to make the cross, we want movement away from the ball so the player can come back and attack the ball. So that's critical. So the guy about to receive the cross has to be active and checking away. That's very important. Obviously, if it's coming from this side, it's probably going to be a right-footed cross out swinging. That might come in for a right-footed finish. If it comes in the air, we might be looking for a headed strike at goal. And we'd like this finish to be 1-2 touch if at all possible, especially without the pressure of opponent other than the goalkeeper. On the other side, we've got the shot coming in from here. Once that's done, we'll switch over to the other side. Clearly, this would be primarily left-footed, and this would be primarily right-footed. And the coach can decide whether he or she wants to stipulate left and right foot or give the players the opportunity to select their choice of striking foot. One of the things I'd be looking at, though, for this striker is what is the arrow angle to the near post? Is the goalkeeper making the near post available? But most of the time, I'd like to see my player shoot across the goal to the far post. And one of the reasons I would talk to young players about that is that if the goalkeeper were to save it, the ball will stay in the playing area. And there's a lot more margin for maybe a slightly less than perfect strike, but still keeping the ball dangerous. If the player shoots to the near and he or she misses, very often it just results in a goal kick. So I like in general shooting back across the face of goal if at all possible, and that might be something I'd definitely be working on in addition to all of our technical components for striking the ball, body shape, non-kicking foot, etc.
So Ian, before we go on to the video, one of the things that we'll notice in the segment that we'll show for Paul Marco is that he actually dresses two individuals, one on each team, in a different vest to indicate their striker or their goal scorer. Any comments on that?
Yeah, so the idea would be that somewhere in this red group, your number 9, your normal striker, you would highlight them. And similarly over here with the blue team, you'd find your number 9 and you'd make a special highlight of them. And the idea there is that they're the players that should be finishing most naturally. They should be the top performers in this activity. So sort of singling them out, signing them out, I think can be very helpful. Again, I might want to get those guys more reps. So that might be a reminder for me to get my strikers more reps because, if this is my number 9, how many times has my number 9 crossed the ball? Most of the time I want my number 9 here. So some idea of getting the players into their function, I think, can be very useful.
Excellent. Well, let's now watch the video. This is Paul Marco at the 2019 convention. This is the first of 3 activities of which we'll explore in subsequent give and goes, and this he used as a warm-up.
Today's session will take you through a team session to develop players. So you'll notice I have 2 teams set up. And I have 1 green and a yellow bib. What position? Striker. We have a team of pinks with a team 1 in orange. What position? Striker. So we have 2 goal scorers that are highlighted within. When you walked in, you noticed the field was already set up. When the kids came up, they were probably wondering, what are ropes doing on the field? Anytime you can set the field prior to the session and get it organized, it'll save time for when you show up. It'll also help inspire the players as they're walking in. Coaching is taking players somewhere new. My goal today is to get these 2 guys better. A little bit at game speed, go by the stick, bang. Come get a 1-2. Go get it off of that guy. Go get it off of that guy. Play it right at his feet. Play it at his feet. Good. Go by the wall, dummy. And we cross, and we get a goal. Great. We need to start the activity, and the type of pass that I play matters. So just watch. When he comes out to the stick, I move this way. Stop. That creates an angle. See the angle? If I stay here, minimal angle. Stay there. So if I'm defending him and he goes there and the ball is there, I drop off, I can cut the ball out. The ball goes there, harder. So as he makes his run, as he comes, touch the stick, and the ball I play doesn't go very far because I play it with the outside of my foot. If I play it with the inside, it picks up speed and rolls away. It has top spin. But when I play it with the outside after I've moved, it dies, allowing him to hit the ball first time. So it looks like this. Get ready. Come to the stick. It's quick. Can you hit it first time? Good try. So as they get used to the exercise, whether they know what to do or not in the organization, we can always look at contact on the ball when they're putting the ball in the goal. So what does that look like? Do they run around the ball? I want you to pay closer attention to the orange and the yellow bibs, because they say that they're the goal scorers. Now, 2 things are happening. 1, we've all set exercises up like this when we're at home. How many times is yellow and orange getting a chance to put the ball in the goal? Not as many, because a lot of other things are happening in the session and there's a lot of kids. Could I have more goals set up? For sure, but somebody's on that field already. If I need them to get more practice, I might bring them out earlier and do it with just 3 or 4 players. I want you to notice mostly 2 things: contact on the ball and their follow through. Contact on the ball and their follow through. Okay, it's game on. We'll play to 2 goals. 2 goals. Green have 1. Do we get a winner? Green have 2. Stop, stand still. Okay, stop means stop. Good. That's better. contact on the ball, and follow through. Perhaps the two most important things. Okay, stop there. I'll let you play the game for 2 goals, but I just want to show a couple of things. So 2 things have happened, and you boys have been coached pretty well. And here's how I can tell where and when you move when you're not playing. So as you play, go ahead, and you go by him and you smash it in the goal. Smash it in the goal. Get another one. It's just a soccer ball. If it goes away, we've got another. Go ahead. Go by. Can you beat the goalkeeper? Good try. Stay there. So now as you play here, stop there. In the game, if you play the ball to him from there, there's no chance I'm going to let you get the ball. My teammate will deal with him. So you have to commit me. So play the ball there. Dribble at the dummy. Go by the dummy. Good. Like that. And see how it happens feather quickly? Pop up. Okay, try it again. The ball that you play him, he wants to try to finish first time. So happen. Good. Good. Bang. Hit me in the knees. Hard. Better. So contact on the ball is priority 1. The ball doesn't go up because you lean back. Period. The ball goes up because contact on the ball and follow through tells the ball where to go. Grab me a couple of other balls. So the ball rolling in is the hardest one to keep low. So what I'd like you to do is kick the paint off the ball. Understand? That means hard. So when the ball rolls in, can your contact be high on the ball and your follow through forward? Follow through forward. Decent. Let's try one more. Hard. Decent. Now you're pulling the ball a little bit and have your hips face the goalkeeper. Have your hips face the goalkeeper. Good. So now you just move the ball. You either move your hip or you move where you contact. Try and contact just a little off center. Hard. Hard. See, now we're back underneath it. And it's about your head. You actually pick your head up on contact. So when we're playing, have contact on the ball and your follow through forward. Bang.
Well, yeah, and that was a great session there. First one by Paul Marco. And now we're going to go and observe the same activity using Global Coach Animation. And this is about a 30-second video. There isn't any sound with this one. So just enjoy it and see as the animation goes from one end to the other. Thanks, Ian. So let's just go back for some final concluding thoughts.
Yeah, so I think when we look at the video that Paul provided us, you can see that if there's a lot of coaching going on and he was doing a clinic for coaches, there can be some standing. And I think the first thing we've got to do is we've got to make sure that all of the 3 responsibilities in this pattern and the dual responsibilities in these patterns are well understood by the players. And what we want to do as coaches is get this set up so we get a ton of frequency. So we get a ton of the dribble shot, the give and go shot, the finish off the cross, and then the give and go shot here. We want to get a lot of those going. Once we have repetition established, then we can start putting in our coaching points. So initially you facilitate the environment, get it going, and then you can start to see if in-step shooting is poor or weighted pass is poor or body shape is poor. And then you can start to coach it. So for me, this type of drill-like unopposed activity, the key is to get the organization right, and then you can start to put your coaching points in.
Well, thank you, Ian. A slightly longer give and go than normal, but I think the video injection was really helpful. So thanks, coaches, for joining us on this edition of Give and Go Live, and join us for our next edition that will look at activity number 2.